And just because, you know, it's Stella Damasus, I'm going to allow her to have Stella
No, you're gonna say it right for the
Stella Damasus.
Thank you.
Stella Damasus. I'm taking it. I promise. Okay. So to the side, don't go anywhere. Stella, take yours. Big shots. Full shot, please, and then.
That facing the side.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Shot. Ayola, sit beside Stella Damasus. How do we keep making sure that we're creating content that is relatable? Because Nollywood is very relatable. Our industry before Afrobeats was such a huge thing. It was Nollywood. Nollywood really introduced Nigeria to the world, to the Caribbean, to the rest of Africa, and it still is, you know, one of our biggest exports. So I'm going to start with Stella, because you are one of our, you know, one of our Hollywood icons. You've been on our screens for a while. And I mean, 18. Are you turned 18 last week? What do you think has been the most important thing for you that you've seen that has made the content we've created so far so relatable?
I believe that, first of all, thank you to Ersi. I believe that it was the time we decided that we were not going to keep telling our stories to ourselves. We wanted the world to hear our stories. I'm going to use Fela, for instance. When Fela started his music, he had his contemporaries doing music, but why would Fela sell out in countries where they don't understand Pidgin English or Yoruba? It was because he came with something, my culture, my language, my drum, my costume, but mixed with rock, jazz, you know, hip life, hip hop, R&B, his horns, the minor chords. So he's able to tell his story, but using global sound. So when we got to the point where we decided to detach a little bit and let the world enjoy who we are, telling our stories in the way that they can understand, in our locations, in the plot, in the structure of our stories, globally relatable themes with the plot and the structure that the K-dramas are using now. The Indian films have changed and all that. So it's in us being able to use a general global plot and structure to tell the African story in the authentic way.
I want to move to you, Ali. Ali, you are Haitian American, yes, or American Haitian. Which one do you prefer?
I'm Haitian.
Oh. You get a round of applause for this man. Before you are African American, now black first. Yes. So Ali, I want to just take this there. What was your introduction to Nollywood?
So I have to give you the non-Nigerian aspect, right? So there is a diaspora out there that is, I say, black. So the Caribbean, South America, there's a lot of us who don't know where we come from. So when I first met Stella, I was so nervous because I've been watching Stella for a long time. Like we have these little stores, like in Haiti, we have these little stores, Nollywood is or Hollywood. So meeting Stella, I almost passed out. I'm always nervous around her, she never knows why, right? So you said when you're married to a Nigerian and when you're Haitian, you become like a diplomat for Haiti. So whenever I go to Nigeria, I'm always asked about Haiti. I always asked about everything. When I leave Nigeria and I go to Haiti, I go to like Brazil, wherever I go, they want to know about Nigeria. They want to know that what they see in Hollywood, is it the same? Like, so I was so nervous doing our wedding because my sister had watched this Nollywood movie and she was expecting the flowers to be on the floor. I think it was Beyonce, and I was nervous that she was going to say something that was just going to embarrass me in front of everybody. So it's just like Nollywood is such an important part of non-Nigerian theater because this is where we get to see ourselves. So there are so many customs that we've lost, but we can see through a story. We're watching a Yoruba custom where they bathe the woman after she had birth. We've been doing that for years. So we're like, oh my God, this is what we do. Like, so a lot of the things that we pick up from Nollywood movies, we do it. But we don't know why we do it, but we know that we've done it many times. And yes, we have a mixture of a lot of cultures in the Caribbean, and like here in the States, even in Miami, a lot of it is like, we're like, it's important because we want to see ourselves more than just the stories they give us here. We want to see ourselves as the bad guy, as the good guy, as the lawyer, as the doctor. We want to see ourselves like, we want to see people who look like us tell stories that relates to us.
Thank you. Amazing. Round of applause for him, man. Thank you so much, Ali. Well, let me move quickly to Ijoma, because you are one of the biggest promoters for Nollywood in the US. Is it easy to do what you do in terms of marketing that content? I know you mentioned there's a lot of independent work that goes into it. Does the content help sell itself, or how much work do you have to do?
Okay, thank you. So I think I'm the only person on this panel who's a bit different because I'm not an actor, but since 2013 at the American Film Market, I organized the first Focus on Africa, and that is how long we've been trying to make these things happen. Yes, and I remember at the time we flew in Wangi from Africa Magic, Jason and Joko, and a couple of other people on the continent, and to begin to build these bridges and see how we can cross over, between Africa and the US. And so, to answer your question quickly, we are very big with business. Okay, I think personally that there's been a lot of focus on the creative side. There's nothing wrong with that, telling authentic African stories, but at the same time, how do we build businesses? Because if not, how are we going to create the jobs? How are you going to make ROIs? How are you going to convince people to drop money? And that's been our focus, to drive conversations, right, that will empower, that will elevate, and also help people understand the potentials behind distribution, behind financing, behind production of Nollywood films. So of course, a lot of efforts, a lot of investments goes into this. I can tell you that even with what Toyosi is doing, there is no funding that has come into this, either from the government, and a lot of times we put in our personal money, just knocking at the doors. I left Nigeria 6 weeks ago. I've been traveling from the Cannes Film Festival across, London, across different parts of France, and I'm in America. What are we doing? We are knocking at doors. That is our job, and it involves a lot of time, of efforts, and of course resources. But you know what? If you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you.
Right. That's right.
And just because, it's Stella Damasus, I'm going to allow her to have Stella
you're going to say it right for the benefit of
Masters.
Thank you.
Stella Damasus. I'm taking it. I promise. Okay. Ijoma has said some really powerful things here. Do you think, as an industry, are we focusing too much on the show and not on the biz?
Well, I think we have to balance the scales here, because there has to be content for money to exchange hands, so we have to get to the point where we do it 50-50. Like I was talking to her and she was saying, Stella, I'm expecting that by now there are some things you should be doing in America and you shouldn't be the one doing it yourself. You should have. So it's in us being able to identify those other departments that will work as the driving force, the vehicles to what we're doing, and being able to say, we are the show, you are the business, how do we work together? But I also just want to say, before we leave, that I'm very grateful for your department. And as you have said that you're building the framework of how things are going to run, I will just appeal to you to please carry us along so that we know what the expectation is, what we're supposed to do. Are we coming as a collective, a coalition, just individual businesses, or you have to have some certain degree of documentation here in America or Social Security to be able to do XYZ. So if we know, because we are trying not to individualize this, we are trying to grow as an industry, so that if we know what we're supposed to do, then we can go back home and say, this is the expectation, so get your act together. But thank you.
Come on.